Gentlemen, get out of the habit of living for the future. It is all too easy when we're choosing to get better at things, be it creating our new business or making our body much better than it is, or improving our mind, whatever it is. It's all too easy to find yourself wishing away this moment in return for growth. It can get so frustrating when you've just started something or when you're halfway down the road of doing something, to the point where you want to be at the end. You want to have the thing you're working towards. It's so easy to do this when we're choosing to improve, and I'm here to tell you that if this is something you're doing, you have to cut this out now. Why is this such a problem? Why do people find themselves with such an issue because of this? Well, it flies in the face of what it means to actually enjoy this world. If you're constantly living for tomorrow, then by its very nature, once tomorrow comes, you're not going to be enjoying that either. And this is the pernicious cycle that we can get into with this, is by living for tomorrow, we really live for the day after that. And what we do, if we're not careful with this, is everything and anything that we get is nullified and negated and neutered, and we don't really care for what it is that we're getting because we're too busy looking over at the next hill. As I say, this is a particularly prominent issue when it comes to getting better at things, because the very nature of improving is that you want to get past the place that you're at now. And of course, this is part of the process. You need to look towards the future in order to acquire things and to achieve and to succeed the way you want to. But it doesn't mean you have to waste your life in turn. I have found myself on all too often of a day wishing that I was with my friends doing something particularly interesting, because today's just another day of study or boring day of doing this or whatever, or wishing for growth to come in various endeavours because I'm so irritated with where I find myself. But what you fail to see when you have this train of thought is that there's a real beauty and there's a real virtue in this very moment. Now, I will credit the absolute man that is Sam Harris for bringing this thought to my mind. And if you haven't got his Waking Up app, I strongly recommend it, because there are these moments that he puts on there that are fantastic. And this is based off of one of those. I have that as a inspiration. But what he was saying, and what I want to get forth to you guys, is that by living for the future, you waste now. And what you have now is nothing, because you're so invested in what there is to come. Now, we are all too aware of the fact that we don't know what's going to come. The greatest power in the universe is time, and we have no idea when it will choose to conclude its efforts with us. We don't know what's going to come, and we don't know when it's going to come. So living for the future and living through this angle of, I want to improve at this, I want to get better at this, I want to do more of that, or I can't wait until I look a certain way or earn a certain amount. By doing this, you really squander the gift that is life. Now, an interesting angle that I was thinking about when I was just about to start recording for you guys is that this method of thinking can really be attributed to a number of things. Of course, the example that I'm looking into there and what I was speaking about there are the positive things that we can find ourselves so often with things like Christmas that are coming up now, wishing the time away because we're so excited for what it is to come, but forgetting that once something's here, then it's gone. And once we're there, we'll just be looking up at the next ridge, we'll be looking over the next hill, we'll be looking up the next mountain, because that's the nature of the game when this is the way that you think. Now, I've been thinking about this specifically with regard to Christmas, because I thought, once Christmas comes, it will be gone. And it will be another year, and it won't be the same next year because life changes. So with this day, I have an opportunity to have as much enjoyment as I will on Christmas Day, with 7 more opportunities to do it, because it's not yet Christmas. And this method of thinking is applicable to everything. The pleasant flip of perspective that is found here is that you're still using that enjoyment of, God, I can't wait for whatever it is to come. I can't wait for my business to boom. I can't wait for my day out with whoever. I can't wait for this exciting thing that's to come. But you're doing it in a manner that means that you're actually portraying that enjoyment today, and you're recognizing the value of the opportunity that you have now. And what this does as well is it brings a real unique value to each moment, because this method of thinking is always applicable. You will never find a time when you can't use this train of thought. And what this really speaks to is the fact that of all moments and of all times and of all places to be, the best one is now, because everything is yet to come. All of the joy of life is yet to come, and we're yet to see it. And there's something absolutely powerful and beautiful about that we know this thing is going to come. We know we're going to have these joys in our life. We know we're going to have these experiences in our lives, and we haven't quite had them yet, so we can still enjoy them before they're even here. Now, on the flip side of this, and this is what I was thinking about before this video, is how applicable is this method of thought to difficult times? Now, for a bit of context, I'm someone who is terribly anxious, and I do struggle when it comes to social circumstances that require my effort in conversation as well as my kind of work rate, let's say. So today I'm working behind a bar, and I'm reasonably sure it's going to be quite busy tonight, and that worries me. Now, I was thinking about this with this angle in mind, that actually this in itself is a unique opportunity to acquire something that every other moment doesn't afford me. When I get there, and if it's busy, I am going to be finding myself in a position that affords me a level of experience that I didn't previously have. And what I'm really trying to get to here on a slight note is that even when things are difficult or uncomfortable or perilous, it affords us an opportunity to relish now. Now, of course, I'm not going to be a prick about this. If things are not going very well, you're not going to be going, look how cool this is. No, of course not. But having a recognition of maybe if you've got something coming up that is a worry or a concern for you, having the recognition that in this moment you can have a perception on what is to come that affords you a different way of thinking about something. You can recognise that maybe as someone who is anxious, going behind a bar and serving some people will do you a favour, because it's going to put you in a position where your current state is tested to the point that growth is acquired. And now what you can look at is maybe, well, if I'm on my way to having growth because I'm about to experience something difficult, can I enjoy this moment for what is to come? Of course, as with anything that comes to this requires some real practice, and this requires some real effort to recognise what you can do with this train of thought. And what I would urge is that, of course, when it comes to negative emotions, I think it's not necessarily played on enough, that it's hard to put the right perspective towards things. If something's shit, then it's shit. And, you can say, oh, look on the bright side, but that's a very flawed way, or what's the word? Kind of inattentive, it's not applicable in the right way. People don't always make that common thought recognised enough. But you can certainly do this when it comes to positive feelings. And as I say, it's all too easy to wish time away. And if you're anything like me, what this precludes is that you are setting yourself up for some negative feelings down the line, because you will get towards the grand, great occasion that it is you were looking forward to, be it Christmas, be it your business, be it whatever example you would like to put in here. And once it's gone, it's done. And you will get the terrible fall off that is the following days of Christmas, where you think, Christmas is done. You want to avoid that as best as you can, and I think recognising this moment is one of the key ways of doing that. Because, as I mentioned before, it's never not applicable. And I'm going to just, for the sake of this video, I'm going to try my best to run through a kind of train of thought with you now and see whether we can go somewhere with this. Is say you're looking forward to Christmas Day and you haven't paid attention to the fact that you've got 7 more days before it's Christmas, and with that you get to Christmas Day, you have a ball of a time, and then it's the 27th and you go, oh, it's not Christmas anymore. How can you use this moment as a positive thing? How can you flip it to a positive thing when things are not going so well? Well, for a start, it provides you with experience. And this is something that I think across the board when it comes to anything and everything in life is invaluable. Is if you can have a grasp and a recognition of the fact that actually in underappreciating the days that came before Christmas, I felt worse afterwards. You've now got next year as an opportunity, or the next experience, whatever it is, as an opportunity to exercise the appropriate way of thinking. And you can now flip this negative into a positive that brings with it a silver lining of sorts. And another thing I would like to throw in here, and I'd be interested to see your opinions on this, is in an attempt to enjoy the great moments in life, when you're at a fantastic party with your friends, or you're out with your family, or you're really just in one of those, when you just know that you're having a good time, it's very interesting to look at the fact that if you do not recognize that you're in a good time, you forget to enjoy the fact you're in a good time. You don't have that conscious thought of, I'm in one of those good memories that I'm going to remember for years to come. Let me enjoy it. But by doing that train of thought, by going, oh, I'm in a really good place at the moment, let me remember this, you pull yourself out of what it means to create the memory. This is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, and I myself would certainly be one of them, is that when you're in a good moment, you can try so strongly to keep hold of something that you actually let it go. And I think this calls to this same method of thinking of actually, rather than wanting to clutch and hold on to these great experiences, that you have to be comfortable with the flow of life. And I think that's really what I'm touching on in this video, is that every moment is now. And of course, each moment as it passes brings with it a new opportunity for the present. The present is always present. That's why it's called it. So if you find yourself in one of these positions where you go, I'm in one of those good moments, let me remember it, and you try so desperately to hold on to it, recognize that that is what you're doing. I've found this has been one of the most helpful ways of subverting this kind of perilous paradox, say, of I want to enjoy the moment, but I want to know that I'm enjoying the moment. So what do? I think it's this. I think it's to recognize that in each moment you have this moment. You have the opportunity to recognize that you are exactly where you would like to be. And once this moment passes and you find yourself 10 minutes later down the line, you are 10 minutes later down the line and you're still in the present. You still have the opportunity to enjoy what is now. What I would like to tie into this as well is a longer form perception of this. Now, it's interesting to think about the fact that even in our most dull, monotonous days, or even one could argue our saddest days, that there will almost invariably come a time where we would trade this moment for another one. I dare say that even in the depths of some real uncomfortable thoughts when you're 21, that when you're 95, you would probably take this moment back. And I think to a large extent, certainly for a long, long time, for anyone that's watching this video, this is always the place we find ourselves in. There's always going to be a time where you would wish you were younger, and youth is something that we can never recapture. As I said before, time is the prevailing force of the universe, and at that, it is certainly unforgiving. You have to bend to its power rather than stand against it, otherwise you will certainly be crushed. And there will come a time where maybe things aren't going well, on a personal basis. Maybe you've had a relationship crumble, or maybe you've had a loved one pass away, or maybe it is just the ebbs and flows of life. Maybe you find yourself one day as a 72-year-old man looking backwards, and what you'll be looking backwards is on every moment that came before that. I dare say that even the 72-year-old that I've mentioned there, who thinks, wow, I'd love to be 20, would probably really like to be 40. And the 40-year-old who thinks, wow, I wish I was 20 again, he'd probably like to be 30 as well. There's never going to be a time when we can't look backwards, and there's never going to not be the opportunity to look backwards and go, wow, what a great time that was. And if this speaks to anything, above all, it speaks to the fact that now is the moment. Now is the time to enjoy. And as I say, there's this beautiful balancing act that we must partake in when it comes to this, of how do I enjoy this moment without recognizing so much that I pull myself out of the moment, and also don't look back with that nostalgic glint that makes things uncomfortable. And the best idea that I feel is possible for this is just to recognize in the most fleeting of manners that now is a great opportunity. Just to look and go, I'm here. I'm in this moment. Just something as simple as that, I've found, is so helpful, because it's short enough for you to recognize to that extent where you go, yeah, I'm with my friends at the moment, and this will be one of those times when I'm 72 that I'll look back and go, wow, wouldn't it be great to be 21 again? But you don't pull yourself out of the moment so much so that you don't enjoy it to the point that you can look back at it when you're 72 and go, wow, that was a great time in my life. Time, this moment, and everything that comes with it is a very difficult thing to navigate. It's so easy to find ourselves in one of two areas when it comes to time. Wishing it away as to get closer to something, or trying perilously to wish it away as to get closer to something that was behind us. We can look back with that nostalgic, oh wow, I wish I was back there. I wish I was back there, which of course you can't get back there. Or we can look forward with that, I wish I was there. I wish I was there. Neither of these methods of thinking are going to acquire or accrue happiness. And you have to recognize that this moment is all of these moments. Everything that you wish for, everything that you wish against comes in this moment. And with that, you have a unique opportunity in every second of your life to enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Anyone that's watching this, I really thank you for your time. I hope that I can provide some sort of help for you, because it's fun for me and I hope it helps someone out there. So with that, I'm going to quit rambling, and I really hope you've enjoyed. Gentlemen, gentle ladies, if you're there, thank you very much. Take care. Love you all. Love you all. Love you all.